So, I mean, typically what a hiring team would, or where a hiring team would be coming from, and I'm sure you would have experience in this sort of aspect yourself of building out your teams or contributing to additional headcount within your team. My experience has been that people on this sort of panel have a very specific agenda that they want people who can contribute to the team as quickly as possible, who become assets to the team as quickly as possible with as minimal handholding as possible, especially when you're hiring people from the industry. Now, how you would or how you could leverage this to your experience uh, is that when you're applying or when you come across the specific opportunity within a product team, off the bat what where this product is aimed at and who this product is essentially serving. So if you were to take a specific example of, let's say, the healthcare or procure to pay scenarios, in a procure to pay setting, you know who are going to be using this product. It's going to be, let's say, the payables department of an organization, and within payables organization there are these several stakeholders, or several sort of personas of people who are interacting with your product. So now, from your experience in user in UX, in UI design, in wireframing, what are several design considerations or design aspects which apply to these different personas, and you are able to make these trade-offs between design elements, saying that, hey, this is where, or this is how a particular user persona would probably be using my product, what works for him, what doesn't work. You are able to convey that as far as the visuals of the product go, right? When you're building out wireframes or mockups. Now, if you are to extend this mockup in both directions, if you take it back to the system, basically, how does any interaction on this wireframe or a mockup interact with your backend system? What is your screen essentially transmitting and getting data from on the backend of a system? That's something you probably don't work on a day-to-day basis if you're focusing on the user interface or experience aspect. But like I said, in a product role, there are these several seasons depending on where your life cycle is. So at some point of time, a product manager, or you're talking to a product manager, and he is discussing these aspects of user interface and design with you. So you would be able to extract uh, or identify where a certain screen is, or how a screen is interfacing with the backend system. And if you have to take this on the other side, you typically will have a good idea of where your individual screen is sitting on the several screens, or the inventory of screens that you have, and how does the interaction typically flow from one aspect of the product to another. So this is probably just starting point. You have experience on user interface, and you are able to probably tie it up, or look at the bigger picture when it comes to the larger product, or the bigger product, as far as user experience goes. How that screen or how that part of the product is interacting with the backend systems is something that you can take as step number one. And again, now this is kind of a static insight that my screen is sitting on top of this system. How the system was designed to be this way, or what were several considerations which were taken into discussion, is the next step. Basically, from your experience, you would probably know. If you were to successfully extrapolate this aspect of taking a screen and going back into the system, you can see several systems at play, and what are differences into as far as how information is organized or information is processed in these systems. This would form the aspect of, or this would form the basis for how these systems are designed, and what interfaces do these systems essentially enable. So these are probably two steps that you can take into starting from where you are right now, and extending or foraying into that aspect of product management or product design.